I hate to cut you off, but actually even cut the music and throw some breaking news on here.
Oh, okay.
We'll come back to the starting five if we have time. Chris Lowe, ESPN, Nick Saban retiring.
Whoa!
Chris Lowe, ESPN, Nick Saban is retiring. He just informed his team that he's retiring.
Whoa. That's huge.
That's the college football coaching GOAT just bowed out.
Wow. Okay, that's massive.
6 national titles at Alabama.
Yo, he's retiring.
He is retiring. Sources tell ESPN.
So, Dabo, I'm already going to throw it out there, right?
We're going straight to that.
I'm going straight to it.
Let me take 5 minutes and
nope, I got no time
and talk about the legacy of Nick Saban here for a second. This year, them not winning a national championship, Alabama, is the 3rd consecutive year that he did not win a national championship. That's the longest streak of his tenure at Alabama, which means he will retire with no player that played for him 4 seasons did not win a national championship. Every player that played for him 4 seasons, that exhausted their eligibility while he was their coach, won a national championship. That is pretty darn impressive. Also, his ability to adapt, I think, is one of the most underrated things in college football. Do you remember how he won his first couple national championships?
LSU?
Actually,
or at Alabama?
At Alabama. Like defense and ground and pound.
Oh, they're like 14-10 games.
And it was, 3.5 yards a carry is fine with me, 3 yards in a cloud of dust. And then about halfway through, he pivoted to like, all right, if the rules are going to favor passing, we'll be the best passing offense out there. We'll be a little more big play oriented on defense, and we'll start cranking out NFL quarterbacks. And they did that, right? I mean, it's not just Bryce Young. It's Tua. It's Mac Jones. It's to a weirder extent Jalen Hurts. Like they won with, what was it, Coker, and they won with Tua, national championships, and Tua was just in there for the last half of football. It's his legacy as a college football coach, kind of regardless, kind of outside of whether you liked the way he did it, the success is inarguable, right? Because I agree sometimes the antics, the over the top red face screaming at a freshman, like it rubbed me the wrong way occasionally. I think you can get your point across in other ways, but also, his players reacted to it. So how can you argue with it?
He got the results, right?
He got the results, and his former players all speak, at least the ones that didn't transfer out, speak pretty glowingly of him. He speaks pretty glowingly of him.
So yeah, just the breaking news. Say it once again for people that may have missed
if you're just tuning in, Chris Lowe, ESPN, Nick Saban is retiring. Sources tell ESPN he had just informed his team that he's retiring. That's Nick Saban. Now I'm gonna relate this to something here in the triangle. To me, Coach K, Nick Saban, a lot of similarities there, right?
Mm-hmm.
I also think they're getting out. They chose to retire at similar times for a reason. I think they see that college sports are changing in a big way. And it takes a lot of renewed effort and a longer-term commitment to keep up with the Joneses, right? When Coach K and Nick Saban began their runs, and Coach K long before Nick Saban at Alabama, but when they began their runs in their respective sports, it was you get a guy to commit on signing day, pretty good chance he's going to be on your team 3-4 years into the future. Coach K rode through the one and done era, but when it got to the transfer portal era, when it got to the NIL era, you felt him kind of go like, let someone else figure out the best ways to handle all this. I like scheming up, pressures, and I like scheming up how to get players open on the wing, and I like motivating guys. And Nick Saban kind of strikes me as similar, right? He's getting out when college football is becoming about how many auto dealership commercials can we crank into your offer here, even though he owns like a ton of car dealerships. How many boosters can we get to put money directly in the players' pockets? And he's just going like, game is changing. I'm a bit old for this. Let someone else figure it out. The difference is, and this plays into what Dennis was saying, and if you're just tuning in, Nick Saban retiring, according to sources who told ESPN's Chris Lowe. It doesn't seem like there's a super obvious changing of guards, passing of the torch, right? Nick Saban retiring today, or telling his team he's retiring. I mean, as of, let me see when the tweet came out. Chris Lowe's tweet, the first one came out 4 minutes ago. 5 minutes ago, we had no clue it was happening.
Yeah.
Do you remember how Coach K did it? He had a full year where he had the coach in waiting on the sideline, John Shire, learning, and everybody knew, and it was his final game. Every Duke player came back, and they did the whole tunnel of Duke greats for him to walk out. Nick Saban is doing like the 5 o'clock on a Wednesday. It's going to leak. I'm going to tell the players, and I'm sure there'll be a press conference tomorrow, and then it'll be no retirement tour. That's pretty darn cool of Saban. One of the more likable things he's done. You want to know what else? And by the way, I'm processing this with you all in real time also. I think we probably should have saw it coming. Like Nick Saban did weekly spots on the Pat McAfee show. And they weren't quite as inflammatory as the Aaron Rodgers spots on the Pat McAfee show. But Saban was doing weekly media hits that he didn't have to do. That right there should have told us he might not be as engaged in the coaching as he once was. Right? I mean, he used to call the media what rat poison? He used to say the media coverage was rat poison. And then this year he was like, no, I got a half hour a week for the rat poison. Like that shows, I wouldn't be surprised if he shows up on College Game Day next year.
Like rat poison.
There you go. Well played.
Thank you.
Had that right at the tip of your fingers. Maybe Lee Corso's chair becomes open. Lee's who is an institution and should have the chair as long as he wants it. Maybe they can work a transition there. Because obviously I just said, Nick Saban, Pat McAfee on College Game Day, Nick Saban. See what I'm doing there?
So quit asking.
It would be so great if he becomes a part of the media. So great if he becomes a part of
just like Boeheim.
It's just like Boeheim.
Just like
100%
Boeheim.
Just like Boeheim.
Golly.
Nick Saban retiring. Pete Carroll just got one-upped.
Right, yeah.
Pete Carroll just moved to a 70-year-old coach with a Super Bowl ring. I'll raise you a 70-year-old coach with 6 national championships. Just got moved to the B section. You had a good afternoon there.
I mean, you knew it was coming at some point. We just didn't expect it. Just like, well, wait a second. He's retiring?
He's retiring. I thought he would have opted for the farewell tour. Which, by the way, and I know Coach K did it, and I know Jeter did it, and I know Kobe did it, and I know Big Papi did it.
Miguel Cabrera did it.
And I know Miguel Cabrera did it. I know Dwayne Wade did it, and he had a hashtag. And I know LeBron is probably going to do a farewell decade. Like, I know all of that has taken place. I respect the guys that just random Wednesday at 5 o'clock. I'm done.
Tim Duncan.
My favorite. You took the words out of my mouth. My favorite is Tim Duncan. Press release at 10 a.m., 11:30 press conference. He was eating lunch at 1:30 in a Caribbean island somewhere.
Yeah.
Like it was just bink, 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 done. And we didn't see him for like 2 years. And all of a sudden he was an assistant coach. Like that, I just, there's something about like, nah, my run's done. I'm out. I've been super celebrated. Like it would have felt weird to have like, half of Auburn Stadium, like, oh, we respect him. Thank you for the years of competition. Like, no. Don't ask for applause. You got boos your last time there, as you should have, because you're Nick Saban. Now let's go to what you asked earlier. Who's next?
Oh, yeah.
And actually, let's add this. Who from Bama's hitting the portal?
Big time question.
All those guys, I'll tell you right now, when you commit to Alabama, you're committing to Alabama, but you're committing to Nick Saban.
Mm-hmm.
In a lot of ways, you're committing to Nick Saban. You're committing to the guy that brought the rings out and dropped them on the office in front of you and said, hey, look at this. That's who's next? Dabo? Kirby?
That's what I said right
Kirby
away.
Smart?
I mean, I don't know. Kirby Smart's got a great thing
Sarkisian?
going over there. Yes, Steve Sarkisian at Texas.
Dan Lanning?
The landscape of college football just changed massively.
And the ripple effects will be felt everywhere.
Absolutely.
Dave Doran? Mac Brown? Mike Elko? Who's in the running?
I mean, I think the speculation's always been Dabo because he went to Alabama. He's
True.
an Alabama guy.
True. Kirby was an assistant Kirby was an assistant, right?
Yeah.